Hi, and welcome to one more lesson of the Arabic speaking course. So, in the last lesson, we were doing past tense, uh, and I had given you the task of making the girdan for the following verbs. So, let's take a verb for instance. So, there is a verb called fahima. Fahima means he understood. He understood, right? So, now, uh, just like the Girdan of Qara we discussed in the last video, now let's see the Girdan of the word Fahima. Fahima means he understood. So the first variation of this verb itself is Fahima. Fahima means he understood. Fahima, Fahima means they two males understood. And Fahimu, Fahimu, Fahimu means they more than two males understood. Now let's come to the female variations of the third person. Fahimat. Fahimat meaning she understood. And Fahimata. Fahimata. Mata meaning two females understood. And Fahimna. 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 Fahamna. Fahimna meaning they more than two females understood. Right? Then Fahimta, Fahimta is for the second person, uh, meaning you read for one male. Then comes the word Fahimtuma, Fahimtuma meaning you two males read. And Fahimtum, then comes the word Fahimtum. Fahimtum means you read, but for more than two males. Then let's talk about the female variations or feminine variations. Fahimti, Fahimti means you read, but for a single female. Fahimtuma again, you read for two females. And Fahimtunna or Fahimtun, Fahimtunna or Fahimtun means more than two females. You read, but for more than two females. And then the last two variations are for the first person, that is Fahimtu. Fahimtu meaning I understood, and Fahimna meaning we understood, right? So you can see how I mapped the girdan of the word Fahima the same way as the girdan of Qara and the same way as the girdan of Kataba. So you see, you just have to learn the endings of the variations, right? So the ending remains the same no matter what the verb is, right? So this is just to give you a sense of how uh, Arabic verbs work, right? And how are they used in sentences. And these are just the subjective pronouns. Hua, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Right? So they obviously we have done this subjective pronouns that with the third person male single male we use hua. Obviously, the variation Qara itself or the variation Fahima itself mean he read or he understood. But if we add the subjective pronoun hua, that would actually uh, provide a bit more clarity that we are talking about the person he, right? So even if you don't add the subjective pronoun, it doesn't matter because the verb variation itself tells you that we are talking about the third person and a single male in this case, in the first case, right? So this is how the past tense work. So make sure you make the girdan for the remaining verbs as well. So in this video today, we will however move on with the present tense. Now present tense also has a similar, but sorry, not similar, a different girdan, but it also contains the 14 variations for every word. The present tense also contains the 14 variations of every verb, which is called the girdan, right? So we studied in the in the previous video, that the past tense, the girdan of past tense contains 14 variations. Likewise, the girdan of present tense also contains 14 variations that you have to learn to understand them, to use them effectively in speaking, right? So the first variation is yaktubu. Let's take the verb kataba again. Kataba. The verb is kataba. Kataba. So again, you need to learn the first variation of this present tense as well, so that you can complete the remaining girdan. You can make the remaining girdan, right? So yaktubu, the word kataba means is the past tense variation. It means he wrote. The word kataba we have studied means he wrote. So the the first present tense variation for this word kataba is yaktubu. Yaktubu. Yaktubu means he writes. Since yaktubu is the third person and singular male variation, right? Yaktubu. Yaktubu means he writes. Yaktubani. Yaktubani means they write, but for two males. Yaktubuna, again, they write, but for more than three males. And then we talk about the feminine version. Taktubu. Taktubu means she write. Taktubani meaning they two females write. And yaktubna, yaktubna meaning more than two females write. Then comes the second person variation. Taktubu meaning you one male write. Taktubani, you two male write. And taktubuna, you three or more males write. See, right? So moving on, taktubina, taktubina meaning you one female write. Taktubani, you write but for two females. Taktubna, taktubna meaning more than two females write. And then the last two are of the first person. So aktubu, aktubu meaning I write. Aktubu meaning I write, and naktubu meaning we write. So you can see when we add the word na in front of tubu, naktubu, it means we write. Aktubu meaning I write. Right? So again, you have to learn this girdan as well, so that you can map the same girdan, the same um, beginning and ending with the rest of the verbs in present tense, right? So you can learn for this one verb yaktubu, so that you can recall this whole girdan and make the girdan for the uh, next verbs, or for the different kind of verbs you speak, right? So yaktubu, yaktubani, yaktubuna, taktubu, taktubani, yaktubna, taktubu, taktubani, taktubna, taktubina, taktubani, taktubna, aktubu, naktubu. Now there are some variations that are repeating, but it's okay. Obviously, there it is possible that one variation can be used for one case and it can also be used for the other case. For example, if we talk about taktubani, this variation, taktubani, it is being used, this variation, present tense variation of the verb yaktubu, uh, is being used for two females, right? And taktubani is also being used for you two males, right? So it is possible, right? So this is how present tense works. This is the whole girdan. As you can see, there are 12, again, 12 variations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 6 are for third person, 6 are for second person, and 2 are for first person, right? Same as in the case of past tense, right? So similarly, if I talk about the verb kora, kora was the verb for past tense variation, which meant that he wrote, he read, right? Kora meant he read. We have studied this verb, right? So now let's see the present tense variation of this verb. So starting with yakrau, yakrau, yakraani, yakrauna, takrau, takraani, yakra'na, 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 takrau, takra'ani, takrauna, takra'ina, takra'ani, takra'na, takra'na, right? Then akrau, nakrau. So the same way we have listed down the variations, all the present tense variations, the girdan of the word yakrau. Yakrau means he reads. Since we are talking about the present tense now. So this is the girdan of present tense. So you see how the girdan works. So I want you to make the girdan in a similar way of the remaining verbs I showed you in the previous slide, the list of verbs for from past tense. So your task is to uh, make the present tense girdan of those verbs, right? So in that way, you learn how to you understand how to map the girdan for different verbs, right? So I have shown you the girdan for two present tense verbs, right? So following this, the exact same pattern, you will make the girdan of the remaining verbs, right? So, for example, let me try one for you. So, we have done the present tense girdan for these two verbs. Kataba becomes yaktubu, yaktubu, and kora becomes yakrau, right? And fahima becomes yaf, yafhumu, yafhum. So, I am just telling you the first present tense word so that you can complete the remaining word. Right. So yafhamu means he understands, and now this verb, past tense word zahaba, meant he went. So yazhabu means he goes, and this word akala means he ate. So yakulu means he eats, right? Yakulu yakulu means he eats, the present tense version of akala. Then comes the word shariba. Shariba yashribu. Shariba yashribu. Yashribu means he drinks, obviously. So you see how the pattern forms. So kataba yaktubu. Kataba means he wrote. Yaktubu means he writes. Qara means he read. Yakrau means he reads. He reads. Fahima means he understood. Yafhumu, he means he understands. Dhahaba means he went. Yazhabu means he goes. Akala means he ate. Yakulu means he eats. Shariba means he drank, and Yashrebu means he drinks. Right? So this is how the present tense is being compared with the past tense. And obviously, you have to learn the first variations of both the past tense as well as the present tense so that you can make the complete girdan from the first version, right? So the first verb for present and past both need to be learned for the verbs so that the remaining girdan can be made easily by looking at the first variations, right? So this is all for the present tense that you need to know in order to speak them effectively in your um, conversations, right? So it's basically not yashribu, yashrabu, right? So yashrabu, right? So I wanted to make the girdan of present tense for these three verbs along with these four verbs, right? So in the next video, I will tell you the girdan of one of these verbs for present tense, and then we will move on to the last main form of the verbs, that is the command form. So that's it for today. Subscribe and share and like the video. مع السلامة إلى اللقاء.